Hey guys, my name is Drew Solo,
Poppy Ortiz over here.
and today is Thursday, April 2nd, and our Throwback Thursday review of the week is...
The Matrix Trilogy. It ain't one movie, it ain't two, it's the whole trilogy. We coming at you with it. This series depicts a future in which Earth is dominated by a race of self-aware machines that was spawned from the creation of AI.
The machines devised a way to extract the human body's bioelectric thermal energies by enclosing people in pods, while their minds are controlled and connected to a simulated reality called the Matrix.
These movies were written and directed by the Wachowski sisters. We got a hell of a cast in this movie. You got Keanu Reeves, you got Lawrence Fishburne, you got Hugo Weaving. I mean, you got it all. You got, it's basically about a computer hacker that tries to hack into what he thinks is the Matrix. He thinks he's living in the real world. He's actually not. They basically try to save him from the Matrix. He doesn't know he's in the Matrix. He gets presented a blue pill and a red pill.
Yeah.
He can go back and wake up like nothing ever happened, or he can wake up in the real world.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know what that means. He thinks he's just reached these cool computer hackers and he's gonna be like kind of a part of them. So he goes into the real world and he finds out that he has been living in a simulated reality, which is actually a cool premise to a movie because don't we all think something's up? We don't know what's
Yeah,
really...
this movie made everybody
We don't know
feel
what's
like,
out there. We don't know why we're, our purpose.
We living in the Matrix, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you get karate in this movie. You get karate in this movie. You get computer programs that are basically people in the Matrix trying to fight you. They each have a purpose to keep the Matrix rolling. The Matrix is basically, for anybody that doesn't really understand, it's basically just a simulated world that the machines use to keep us basically sedated, and they use our energy to power themselves. And they do that basically like underground. They treat us like we're eggs.
Yeah, basically. We get one of my personal favorite actors, Keanu Reeves. Not a guy that is one of the best actors in the world, right? Keanu Reeves is like Paul Walker in a way where it's like you just like seeing him like on the screens. I just root for him.
He just reminds me of a Cali Stoner.
For sure. You just root for Keanu Reeves. Who doesn't want to be... I want to be friends with Keanu Reeves, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you not root for Keanu?
And he kicks ass. I mean, this is like the first time we saw him in a movie actually use martial arts and use it effectively and kick some serious butt.
And it was groundbreaking for, especially in the very first film, on the rooftop, the slow motion. Everybody used slow motion after this.
Everybody used slow motion. Dodging bullets.
Yeah, for real. At that time, those were ill special effects. Everybody, that's a scene.
Yeah, and that first movie, we get introduced to the Matrix, and he kind of gets brought into the real world and realizes that there's a whole nother branch of people living below the surface of Earth, trying to survive, that haven't been hacked into at all. Yeah. And they basically save people. Yeah. And
they're basically living in old sewer systems.
Yeah, and when they do hack back into the Matrix world, you have agents, which is I think Agent Smith. Yeah. They basically come after them to try to kill them.
Yeah, they're basically programs in the actual Matrix, the program, and they're just sent out there to kill. They're like virus protection on your computer. They're out there to go kill whatever virus they feel like is in the Matrix.
Correct. Yeah. And basically, if you die in the Matrix, you die in real life. The body can't live without the mind, so they say.
Yeah. So you get a lot of groundbreaking stuff. Amazing fight scene, especially at the end with him and Agent Smith. Neo and Agent Smith are in the train station at the end. Yeah. And then my favorite part, that classic scene, Keanu gets up and he has like dust all over his shoulders and he hits you with one of these and dust flies off.
Yeah, he and basically he learned you can learn how to fight through programs. They bring you into a program. For instance, for example, Lawrence Fishburne is basically the leader of the underground resistance, and or so we think at that point. And he can bring Keanu, or AKA Neo, into a program. And he already knows Taekwondo. And now it was just loaded up to him. He can get it loaded up into his brain. Yep. And then they can go practice. And he can learn exactly his limitations and what he can do. It's almost superhero-ish.
For sure.
The way they can jump, the way they can
the only one that
bend things.
Yeah, he's the only one that can fly.
Yes.
Which was pretty dope.
And
yeah, everybody is skeptical on if he's actually the one too. That's kind of what like the first film is about. Is nobody believes it other than Lawrence Fishburne. He's the only one that actually believes it. Oracle gave him.
Yeah, basically. Lawrence Fishburne saves people from the Matrix because he believes in a prophecy that was told to him by the Oracle, which is another cool little thing that goes on in the Matrix. It's a program that can tell you the future, like an Oracle. Yeah. And she basically tells him that he will find them. So he's been on his trying to find the one, and he believes Neo is. Neo doesn't believe he is. Neo was basically told he wasn't. But by the end, after escaping agents, after getting betrayed by his own people, come to find out Neo does, spoiler, Neo does get shot and dies, but does come back to life to the agent's surprise, and surprises everyone and kind of shows us that he is the one.
Oh my god, and badass scene. And when he comes back to life, they start shooting again, and he stops the bullets. Mm-hmm. Classic, man.
He's realizing his true potential.
Yeah, his true powers. He's actually believing now. Like that was like the whole key throughout the movie. Is like he didn't even believe in himself, and he finally started believing. Like I am the one.
Yeah. And he gets a love interest with Trinity, she's also a badass.
Yeah, she kicks ass. Yeah, she's hot, but she kicks ass.
And that's basically the premise of the first movie. And the first movie is definitely, in our opinion, by far the best out of the trilogy.
For sure.
Which tends to happen with trilogies, but this one definitely was a really good kickoff to a whole new world.
Yeah, but the good thing is for the sequel, we still get a very entertaining, action-packed sequel for sure.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, moving on to the sequel, it basically kicks off kind of where you left off. He is the one. Yeah. The agents are taking him more serious. They're creating more programs to try to stop him. And in this movie, Neo, like you said, there's a lot more action, and they dive deeper into the world of the Matrix. You get vampires. Yeah. It's kind of an explanation of a glitch in the Matrix. You get key makers that can open a door, and you can travel to a different part of the world. Yeah. And you also get introduced in this movie to one of my favorite characters in the whole series, the Merovingian, which is basically a French guy who basically his purpose is to protect the keymaker. And the keymaker can open up doors that need to be opened.
Yeah, he has the keys to all the doors. He was Khaled before Khaled.
Yes, exactly. Major key. Yeah, and the way he curses in French is awesome. He has some great dialogue back and forth with Lawrence Fishburne and Keanu Reeves, which is pretty good. And Trinity as well.
Yeah, for sure.
She defends her man because at this point, her and Keanu are locking lips.
They're
locking lips.
There's a little sex scene in part 2 too.
Yep. More on my favorite character, the Merovingian. There's another fight scene in his little castle. Which is, I mean, if you love fight scenes, it is amazing. They use all type of weapons, all types of people. Of the third one, that was probably I think that was the second one.
No, where they actually go down. That's where it starts. Remember, he's in limbo and he goes down.
I'm talking about when he before she gets on the bike.
Oh, that's the second one.
That's the second one because that's before when they're.
You're talking about when they I know exactly what
you know what I'm talking
about. They're taking stuff off the walls.
They're taking off they're taking stuff off the walls. Yeah. I mean, it is a kick-ass fight scene. Crazy. Yeah, and I mean they're going through different doors, going to different places on the earth. Yeah. I mean, it is awesome. And another part of the Merovingian, I have Merovingian stories for days. Yeah. He programs a piece of cheesecake and gives it to a girl so that she falls for him and meets him in the bathroom, and he does it all the time. He cheats on his wife. It is a funny little part of the movie, but it is hilarious and totally necessary for us to understand his character.
And then when he gets back to sitting down after the bathroom, she's like, wipe the lipstick off, and he's like, lipstick?
There's no lipstick.
There's no lipstick. And then she's like, oh, no, there's not on your lips, right?
She can see the code as well. They're all programmed, so they can see the code.
Yeah, there's no line.
So, and also, you got one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best motorcycle.
Oh my god!
One of the best motorcycle scenes in all of cinema.
No, seriously, yeah.
With Trinity going through a highway at high speed, dodging cars, dodging trucks, and agents as well while they're chasing her, shooting her, and she kicks butt.
Yeah, for real. And back when I used to scratch up your DVDs, when you had
I remember.
Matrix Reloaded, I remember. Used to watch that behind the scenes and how they built like that whole set. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah, the set is basically
they looped the highway.
It's a looped highway.
Yeah, they built
about
the highway.
A mile long.
Yeah,
so they just go right around.
They literally built a whole highway. That's lit.
Yeah, and the background is just CGI.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
And that was pretty cool. And you get a pretty cool scene with Lawrence Fishburne using a sword, kicking butts with these vampires as well.
The twin brothers.
Those vampires.
Oh my God, yeah.
Those guys can basically go invisible and
then pop
transparent
back
at the same time.
Yeah.
And dodge bullets, dodge.
So like if they wanted to walk through a door, they just go invisible real quick, go through the door, and then pop back up. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, they did it while they were fighting. Great stuff. Yeah.
And in this movie, they also kind of smallly get introduced to the underground world as well.
Yeah. And we find out that Neo can save a life, like literally save a life.
We do find out he can save a life, and he does.
He sticks his whole hand in her.
And he sticks his whole hand
Not
in
the wrong way.
Literally,
yeah.
But he does.
Yeah.
He basically does, and he saves her life.
And they show it in the green Matrix code, like he literally like sticks his hand, grabs the bullet. It's Jesus' hands.
And I know I enjoyed this movie action-wise better than the first one, but the plot wasn't as good as the first one.
But yeah, it is 100% pedal to the metal. Like there's no slowing down. The agent scene where there's multiple agents. And
Neo's kicking butt. Yeah,
Neo's
that was kind
ass.
of a breakthrough for CGI at that point.
For sure at that point. And then if you look back at that CGI now, you can tell he's CGI for a lot of the parts. But at that point, for sure. And
the third one, probably the most disappointing out of the third. It's more dialogue and completing a story more than anything.
Like at the end of the day, like especially coming off of Matrix Reloaded, going into this one where it's the 180, it's very slow. Like there's only a few action set pieces in it.
Like if you weren't totally committed to the story and even the comics, then you probably wouldn't like the third as much. Yeah. Or at least in my opinion, I had high expectations coming off the second one, and it was kind of boring the third one. But you get a great.
I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it either. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I watched it. I liked the storyline and everything behind it. Yeah. But in the third one, you get a really good understanding of how they live underground. Yeah. And what they're trying to do to defeat the machines, which is basically a battle that they can't win. I mean, there's so many machines locating them, and they're trying to run away. They're basically no match. All they can use is EMPs to stop them for a brief time until the next wave comes.
Man. And I think my biggest problem with the third one is that we don't see Neo in the Matrix until the end.
Until the end, correct. You just see him underground, and they're preparing for a war with the machines.
For sure.
And they basically have a whole society down there, a whole bridge of government down there, and there's not that many ships that they can use.
Yeah, Neo's blind.
Neo's blind at this point. Yeah. You get a few good scenes of some agents in there. But basically you get more backstabbing from crew members.
Yep.
And you get a big face-off where Neo knows he's the one. He is embodying and accepting the fact that he's the one. Yeah. And he knows he has to go to the agent and defeat him. And
and at this point in the Matrix, Agent Smith, everybody in the Matrix is now, he's turned himself into himself. Yes. So everybody in the Matrix is now a version of the agent.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, exactly. And he's basically taken over the whole Matrix, which has kind of forced the head of the machine world to come into play and talk to Neo. And
because now finally they have a mutual enemy who's the agent. The machines want the agent gone. Now Neo wants the agent gone. So Neo has a smart idea. Let me go straight to where they live, the machine world, and talk to the main machine and see if they can figure something out. And he plugs him into the Matrix to go fight him.
Go fight Agent Smith, who's duplicated himself into everyone and taken over the whole Matrix, which doesn't help the machines as well because they need humans to occupy that Matrix. Yeah. At one point, Neo, after all that, he meets the architect at the end, and he basically gives him a rundown of that there's been many Matrix before, and he's
like
just one of many.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
There's been other ones before him.
Like the world just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and the part with this movie and the second one, people get very confused. They don't understand exactly what's going on in the world. It's a big universe. It's different than what we're used to. Yeah. And I think the second and third one didn't do much help on making you understand. Which I thought they should have when they basically were all dialogue. The third one definitely went on to tell you about the underground world instead of understanding more of the Matrix world, which I think that would have did better, like you said, if we saw Neo or more people or more scenes in the Matrix.
Yeah, for sure.
The movie is called The Matrix.
The whole third movie is literally just a lot of it is not in the Matrix. Just certain parts, like when because Merovingian is still in the third one.
Exactly. Yes, he is.
And when they go, and this is one thing too. I feel like the third one plays so much into like religion. Like if you actually watch it, like when they go see Merovingian, they're based to get to Merovingian is an escalator that goes down, right? So it's hell. He's the devil. Neo is stuck in limbo, right? So then, like, even when Neo dies at the end, they have him on a cross. Like, and he can't see. He's like Jesus.
Yep.
Like, he really is like Jesus.
It's basically going off a story of that nature.
For sure.
And final breakdown of this movie. We loved it. It was intriguing. It was interesting. It was original. Great fight scenes, great action. Overall, left us a little confused.
Yeah, like remember, just as an overall trilogy. Too,
yeah,
like,
overall,
we're counting everything.
Left us a little confused for the most part. I think I understand most of it, but there could have been more things to explain, more actions in certain movies, better dialogue in certain parts.
But maybe we'll get more of those answers in 4 because we are coming back.
Exactly, and the main reason we are reviewing the trilogy is because Matrix 4 will be coming next year. Hopefully, we know there's been a lot of delays.
Yeah, before the whole Corona stuff, there was a few pictures on set, Keanu on set with Trinity back on the bike.
And I'm hoping this one can kind of do a little course correction for the third one. And I
think it'll spark a whole new trilogy.
Yes, and maybe give us more understanding of the world.
Yeah. For sure, and I have a couple theories, but we'll get into that later.
We'll get that after the fourth one.
Yeah, for sure.
And our Flamingo rating for this movie is
a 6.5,
and that is a complete score and average from all three. And a 6.5, I think, is pretty good
for a whole trilogy.
For a whole trilogy. Like I said, we had the first one a little higher, third one a little lower. But I think a 6.5 for the trilogies right now. That's actually is going to be having an addition. Yeah. It's a pretty good score.
Like if you think about it, if the third one was a little better, it'd probably be up to a 7. Like as an overall.
And that's kind of hard to do as a trilogy because it always goes downhill after the first one.
Yeah, there's only a few trilogies that get it right. It's hard. It is. But all right, guys, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can stay tuned and locked into what we're doing every week. And thank you, guys. Please stay healthy and wash your hands, man.
I am the one.
He is the one.